Well, hello and welcome to Reginaldesq. I'm Underhook and this is my review of the Swedish Tier 7 tank destroyer, the IKV-90B. So is it any good? It's okay. Not bad. This is a stealthy tank destroyer with good camouflage, a fairly accurate gun, and a small profile. Has 10 degrees of gun depression as well, although you can't really utilize the gun depression because the gun is at the back of the tank. It's a rear-mounted gun, which means you still need to expose your whole tank usually to use that gun depression. I was originally going to give this a really bad review because I couldn't hit anything with the gun, but some of you know that the undersea cable between Australia and Singapore was broken, and took them 2 months to fix it, and I've just started playing again. But I've got a feeling that before that cable was completely broken, it might have been a little bit broken, and I was getting a lot of packet loss, and so I was shooting at tanks that weren't really there anymore. And I think that is why the gun appeared to be so inaccurate, because it's actually quite an accurate gun now that everything's working well. I'm also a little concerned that some of the earlier Swedish tank destroyers that I reviewed may have had the same issue, because I was saying how inaccurate their guns were. So maybe some of them were more accurate than I originally thought. Anyhow, we'll have a look at some comparisons for this tank in a second. I'll just let you know my crew is 100% trained, so when you're watching the gameplay, crew's 100% trained. They're all working on camouflage except for the driver, who's working on clutch braking. They're nearly there, so the replays are probably similar stats to that. I have a camouflage net, binoculars and vents fitted to this tank. Also have a small repair kit, large repair kit and large first aid kit fitted. So let's have a look at the comparisons for the tank and the armor layout, it has no armor. But anyway, we'll have a look. Alright, so I've put a few different tanks up for us to compare it to. We've got the IKV-90B here on the left. Then we've got the new Chinese tank destroyer, T-34G 2GFT. The AMX, the French one, the T-25AT, the American, which I loved, and the Stutter & Mill, the German one. So we'll compare them with those. As far as damage per minute goes, you can see we are not quite the lowest. The lowest is the French at 1800. We're 1945. So the new Chinese one has a really high DPM. Might be OP, that tank. I haven't driven it yet, but gee, it looks powerful. And the other two are about 2.1. So I guess you could say our DPM is average, damage per minute. As far as penetration goes, we're sort of in the middle as well. So 210 mils of penetration, which is good, is a little less than the Chinese and American, but it's a little more than the Chinese and American, but less than the German and French tank destroyers. Damage per round, though, is way lower than any of them. So 240 is more like really a tier 6 tank destroyer. The others have, as you can see here, much higher damage. 490 from the Stutter & Mill, and the next lowest is 300. The lowest of those bunch is 300 from the French. So 240, really low damage. So you can see we've got an 8.11 rate of fire. So it takes 7.4 seconds to reload. The German one takes almost 14 seconds to reload. So there's a big difference with reload time there, which is fair enough. Although the French and the other tank destroyers really aren't that much slower reloading. But there you go. The caliber of the gun is of course lower than all the others at 90, so chance of overmatching is pretty slim in this tank. Shell velocity though is really, really good, and this is one of the things I've heard people say this gun is very accurate. I think one of the reasons it feels accurate is because the shell velocity is so high. The shell velocity is 1275. The next highest is the French one at 1000. So 275 meters a second more is a lot. And the slowest is the Chinese one with 800. So that's a really fast shell velocity. So moving targets are much easier to hit with this tank destroyer. Our ammo capacity of 48 is about average, pretty good. Now, gun handling wise, it takes 2.3 seconds to aim the gun, which is quicker than all of them except for the American T-25AT, which only takes 1.7. Like I said, the T-25AT, I reviewed it a while ago, and things have changed for tank destroyers. Now it's much harder driving tank destroyers than it used to be. There's not many bushes or anything around, but that used to be a really great tank destroyer, and that was one of the reasons. The aim time was just so fantastic. 2.3 is, I guess, not too bad when we look at it in comparison to the others. The dispersion of 0.36 makes this a reasonably accurate gun, and combined with that high shell velocity, it's pretty good really. 0.4 for the Chinese, which is not very good, and 0.38 for the American one. The 0.34 on the French one though is very good accuracy, and the stutter and mill is the same at 0.36. Whilst on the move, it's not really good. Its aim does lose a fair bit of its aim. You can see pretty much everybody is better when the tank is moving, except the AMX here in the T25 lose a little bit when they're traversing the gun. On firing, we don't lose as much aim as the other guys do, so that's kind of handy. It's a smaller gun, so you'd expect that. The elevation is only 12 degrees, which is not very much, and the gun depression is 10 degrees. Now, these other tanks, the Chinese one here has only got 5 degrees. The AMX has got 10, the American's got 10, and the stutter and mill's got a whopping 15. Now, the trouble is with our 10 degrees is it's a rear-mounted gun, same as the stutter and mill. Now, stutter and mill is a rear-mounted gun, but it has 15 degrees, so it's a little bit better. But we still need to expose our entire tank to have a shot, whereas these other guys here, really, the T25 and AT and the AMX, can really just point their gun over a hill and have this other part sloping and be very, very difficult to penetrate. That's not the case with the IKV-90B. Basically, your whole hull is exposed when shooting over a hill. It's very dangerous in this tank. So the gun depression really isn't as good as it sounds on this tank. Moving right along to, if I can find out where I was at. Gun depression, there you go. Gun traverse is 20 degrees, which is quite good and is way better than pretty much all of the other TDs that we're comparing it to. So it moves 20 degrees either side. So good amount of gun movement, which means you don't have to keep moving your tracks to re-aim, and that is a benefit. It's a pretty fast tank at 65 kilometers an hour. The next fastest is 56 from the T25 AT, and the slowest is the stutter and mill with 25. Reverse speed is also really good at 60. The next best is 16 from the Chinese one, and the others you can see are pretty slow. It's very, very light though. It only weighs 13 ton. The next lightest is the Chinese one at 32 tons. So you can see it's very, very light. If you get rammed, you basically get demolished. Ground resistances are kind of average. It's not too bad, but it does turn. Track traverse is very, very slow. As you can see here, the only one that's slower track traverse is the AMX. Everybody else is the same or quicker, so it doesn't turn very well considering its power weight ratio is so good. It's a bit surprising. Hull armor, if we look at the armor here, the armor it doesn't have any armor. These other tanks all have reasonable armor, except for the stutter and mill doesn't really have anything, but the other ones have all got armor, and the other ones can all bounce shots. This cannot bounce a shot, and any HE hits you anywhere on the tank, it will fully penetrate and will blow you to bits. So watch out for artillery and watch out for any HE firing tanks. Don't get spotted by them. The health is the equal lowest in the game. The IKV and the T-34, the new Chinese one, both have only 800 hit points, so they are the lowest. The AMX used to be the lowest at 820. The what else can we tell you? Track health, isn't great. It does get tracked pretty easily. View range is 340 meters, which is the worst of the ones we're comparing it to here. The German has 370, which is a bit of an advantage. So if you can see your opponent, say you're looking through a bush, you can see your opponent, don't fire at them because they will see you. Make sure that you back up 15 meters before taking your shot. Because the view range is so small, if you're able to spot them, they will spot you when you fire. So watch out for that. And once you're spotted, you're pretty much dead in this tank. Chance of fire is minimal at 15%, which is good. Radio range of 615 is okay. Let's now have a look at the armor layout. Oh, actually, before I have a look at the armor layout, let's have a look at the camo values. It does have very good camouflage. So here's the IKV-90B right here, and we've got 22.1, which is pretty good. The new Chinese one has even better camo at 25.31. Just to compare that to the tanks that we were looking at before, so 22.1. Let's find the stutter mill, 11.29, so we're twice as good the camouflage as that thing. The French tank destroyer is 10.32, so we're much better than that. And the T25 AT was 19.61, so we're a little bit better than that. For comparison purposes, the E25, which you all know is overpowered and has way too good a camouflage, has 25 in the camouflage. So we're not actually too far off. It's a pretty stealthy tank. The only difference is it just can't see anything, so but it can hide well. Alright, now let's have a look at the armor. So here it is, the IKV-90B in all its well-armoured glory. So normally the red part is the thickest part of the armour, so let's go straight to that. And it's 15mm thick. Yep, the thickest armour on this tank is 15mm. There isn't really a point in saying anything other than everything penetrates and HE obliterates this tank. So in this game, it's a map on Prokhorovka. It's a tier 9 game and we're in a tier 7 tank destroyer that only does 240 damage per shot. So I'm not expecting to have a huge impact on the game, and that's one thing about this tank. It's not a tank that you're going to decide the outcome of the game very often. It's you more or less you play a role and you live as long as you can trying to do a bit of damage, and that's kind of it. If your team's losing and there's only 2 of you left and there's 10 enemy tanks left, you're not going to be able to win the game. You don't have the view range, first of all, to be able to spot people and then shoot at them. You can't really spot on your own, unless you're in a bush, but then if you fire you get spotted. And unfortunately now there's so few bushes in the game, if you back up from a bush you're likely actually to get spotted by somebody else because there's just not enough cover. So I take a bit of a chance to get up pretty close here. I'm a little bit worried about being spotted from where I'm looking now. Actually, just the other side of the train tracks. If someone decides to just sort of pop, and just for spotting purposes, I might get spotted. I'm hoping the bushes on my right will cover me, but I'm trying to get close enough here so I can get shots on people who just start to peek over the hill here, which I'm expecting people to do at some stage. And here we are. There is in fact an IKV-90B, which is the same tank as us. All we have to do is hit it, and we'll hit. Yep, there we go. And we did exactly average damage of 240 per shot. He backs away. So he's been driving that tank for a little while, and he knows if you get hit, you just got to run away. So he was actually managing to show that he saw that only the top half of his tank, but it's still a pretty wide target. I'm just firing a couple more rounds just in case he decides to go back. We'll nail him. There's nothing else to shoot at the moment, so why not? I'm a bit worried about that defender on my right. Ooh, can he see me? I don't think he's quite popped over high enough. Oh, some more tanks. I was too worried about him. What have we got here? Object, okay. IS-6. I thought he was going to keep moving forward. He stopped. I might blind fire here, I think. As you can see, rate of fire is pretty good. But I mean, if you get spotted, by the time, like if a tank like this comes at you, there's no way you're going to be able to shoot it enough times to kill it before it gets to you. So, there's a smorgasbord of tanks to shoot at. Can we kill this guy? Oh no, somebody else killed it before my shot got there. Wasted a shot. Okay, this Tiger's standing still. I'm going to shoot the standing still tank because I've been missing a few shots by trying to hit moving tanks, so we'll hit the stationary ones. I'm not going to worry about who's most important to hit. Oh, I've been hit. How have I been? Okay. Someone's obviously popped the ridge and spotted me. I'm just going to do as much damage as I can before I die. Usually once you're spotted, you die straight away. I can't believe I'm still alive. So we managed to kill that Tiger, so that was worth... Here we go. It's the defenders popped the ridge, and here he comes. Can we get a shot into him? I can't even find anywhere to pen. I probably had a spot on the turret that I could have hit. We're going to die. Let's see if we get another shot in before we die. Yes, we got one into him. And we died. Oh well. Such is life. So looking at the results from that game, you can see we lost. And we didn't get a class 3 or anything, but we did alright really, considering it was 2 tiers higher. Hit quite a few tanks, and we can actually see we hit the IKV-90B, the enemy one, twice. So one of our blind fire shots must have actually hit him. He must have come back into position. Let's have a look at the next screen, and we finished second on our team with 2,114 damage, which was not bad damage really, like I say, for the tier we were working in, so that's not bad. And when I took the screenshot, unfortunately I had this other bit overlaid it and it wrecked my results a little bit. But anyway, we fired 15 shots, 9 of them hit. Of the 9 that hit, they all penetrated. So good penetration. Fairly accurate, although we missed some of those moving tanks. Total damage was 2,114, as we said. Most of it was a long-range shooting. We damaged 5 tanks, destroying 1. And profit, yeah, okay for a tier 7 tank. The map is Arctic region and it's a tier 8 game, so we're in a tier 7 tank. I actually was doing the review and I went to show you some gameplay, and I noticed that some of the ones I had were older and didn't work anymore on this version of the game I have. So I only have one replay to show you, so I've just jumped in and I'm playing a second game. I've just pre-recorded this actually, but it's halfway through the review and I just jumped in and thought, I'll just play another game. Whatever happens in this game, it's going in the review, unless I blow up immediately. So, spoiler, I don't blow up immediately. So I wait a little bit and I pull out. See if I can get a shot on this Type 59. He's moved. I had to move my tracks a little bit there, so my camouflage net would have gone off. There's a VK. He gets a shot on me. I hit him. Use that 20km/h speed to back up. It's got a good reverse speed for a TD. I get right back in case Artie fires, and he does fire. And yeah, but we took a hit there and took out our engine. I'm going to use a small repair kit and repair the engine, which I've just done. 253 damage though, and we only do 240 damage ourselves, so even a light tank can probably out DPM us, so we have to be really careful. Now there's an IS-6 there. Have a green indicator. I fired but missed. You really have to let the gun settle before you fire. I've decided I'm going to go for this 150 because he's a softer target, and I don't want to be bouncing off the IS-6. I've got this guy sitting here who I can punish, and the T50 has a very good gun. So if we can take him out of the game, let's have a go at this. I think we hit the tracks on that guy. So whilst I said the accuracy's okay, obviously we're missing what we're aiming at here a little bit. But when I played it when we had the cable problems, I wasn't even hitting tanks. I was hitting from this range and just completely missing tanks. So we get that T71 there. Can we reload in time to get him another one? Not quite. Yeah, I was completely missing tanks at this range, so obviously it's okay now. It's just you can't... 0.36 from this range isn't enough to really be picking out weak spots anyway. Wouldn't normally be enough. But at least with 0.36 you can be pretty confident you're going to hit the tank. Is this AT-15 going to back up? No, it doesn't look like it. It's not going to come back enough. That T150 looks like he's being a bit more cautious now. But we've lost quite a few tanks down there. So, unfortunate thing is with this thing, it doesn't do a lot of damage. Now we've lost our last tank up there. You just feel like you just can't do enough damage quickly enough. Here we go. Well, that didn't pen. I don't know why. Into the side, we had a green case. Oh, here we go. He was tracked. He's moving again now. He's been tracked again. Whoever's tracking him, you're doing a great job. And you can see the shots aren't landing where I'm aiming, but they're still hitting the tank. Which I'll take it. Into the engine deck there, and then someone else gets the kill. So that's great. Alright, so we performed a valuable service while we're hiding here. So you can see those tanks, with our camouflage and everything, those tanks could not see us. So when someone else is spotting for you, and they were heavy tanks, it's not too bad. But when... oh, they're coming up to our cap. Oh dear, that's looking bad. But yeah, when you have to spot for yourself from 320 meters, then even heavy tanks will see you when you shoot at them. Going to see if I can get this T71 here. It looked like he was going to come up. Or maybe he just went down. That's the T71 we hit earlier, I think. I'm just going to move over here in case he starts to come out. Having a quick look back and whoa, this Cromwell's about to spot us. Okay, I have no choice but to go down there because I'll get shot by that T71. I would have been spotted by the Cromwell. I'm just going to go after him. See if I can help out this our KV-85 here. What is he doing? I wonder if that KV-85 is a bot. I fire here and miss. I didn't want to hit my friendly tank, so I just took the shot before he pulled in front of my target. Can we get this in? Yes, we just managed to get a shot in there. And I'm on the Australian server now. I've got an Australian server. Previously, that shot would have missed the Cromwell if I was on the Asian server. But once we get to night time in Australia, we get to use the Australian server. They've just started an Australian server. 4 years too late, as most people say, and there we go. It was only a matter of time that I was going to get killed there. No armor. I was keeping the dead tank on my right so that the Cromwell couldn't shoot me, because I saw him going around the side to try and get side shots. So I parked next to this big tank, dead tank destroyer there. But eventually that Tiger caught up with me. But we did all right. We did manage to get a couple of shots off. Someone there typed in chat the issue wondered why we don't deserve to win. I've typed in I do. So we can see that we've got a couple of tanks here on the enemy cap, and we're capping as well. We've got our Artie here. Can he reset cap? No. Uh-oh. Oh, we're capping faster. Well, here we are on our cap. We've got another tank on the way. Here he is. Oh, it's so close. Oh no, they must have 3 on cap as well, because we start to accelerate now. They've accelerated as well. I think this is going to be a draw, folks. It's too close. Yeah, we got there first, but they're going to call it a draw. Yep, that's a draw. Damn it. So yes, it was a draw. Oh well, it was a class 3, so what turned out to be an alright game actually. So we're down a tier. It was a tier 8 game. We did alright. We hit a lot of tanks, as you can see. Next, Screeneroony, and we finished 3rd on our team. We did 2,368 damage, and that was in fact the most damage on our team. And on the other, there's only one tank that did more damage. He must have the high caliber medal, and that's this guy here in the charioteer on the other side. So that's not bad. So let's have a look at the next screen, and we fired 14 rounds, 11 of them hit. So yeah, as far as hitting tanks go, it's pretty good accuracy, and 10 of the 11 that hit penetrated. So good penetration. So I think actually, I'm sure we actually bounced more than that. So I think maybe we did track damage when we hit people a couple of times. Total damage 2,368, and more than half of that was over 300 meters range. So I guess that's pretty good, really. Received 5 hits, of course, they all penetrated. Damaged 6 vehicles, didn't destroy anything, and got a little bit of assistance damage, probably right at the end there. We didn't travel very far at all, and actually made pretty good money considering that was a draw. Wow. Okay. There you go. Thank you for watching my review of the IKV90B. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more reviews, please subscribe to Reginaldesq. Have fun.